What's up everybody, King of Fomo here, coming at you with your daily crypto update. In this video, we're going to be talking about the main number one question I've been getting about Pulsechain and PulseX. What is the price of the token? So for the past couple days, there wasn't really a real price for any of the tokens on Pulsechain, but now today we officially have a price for everything with a little asterisk at the end there. The kind of caveat here is that this isn't really going to be the final price. There's still a lot to be bridged over, but that is to say you can right now take your Pulse over on Pulsechain, sell it, bridge it back to Ethereum, and take money out. So that to me is a realistic price of what you're looking at right here. Now it's up to you if you guys want to do this, but let's go ahead and take a look at it because the liquidity is here. So some things to note before we kind of continue on here is the amount claimed versus the amount bridged. So right now people are moving over Hex, DAI, USDC, Ethereum, and USDT from the Ethereum network, which has worth and value, tested worth and value, to the Pulsechain network, which doesn't have any worth or value until these coins get over here. So it looks like there's a total of $34 million that have been bridged over, but only 11% of that $34 million have officially crossed over and is on the chain right now. The rest of these transactions are being processed, so you can expect a lot more of these funds to move over to Pulsechain in a little bit in the coming week, I'd say, or so. Now, does that mean that the price of everything is going to skyrocket up as soon as it bridges over? Well, I don't think so, because I think the majority of these funds are probably going to be used to create pools, and people already have Pulse to make those pools. So will a ton of buys come in? I'm a little skeptical about that, but will there be buy pressure? I'm sure there will be probably a little bit more buy pressure. I don't even want to say that. There's still going to be some sell pressure. A lot of people are waiting for liquidity to be here to be able to sell and take a profit, because everybody's kind of in profit. Well, not everybody, but most people are in profit right now for Pulsechain. So let's take a look at what the actual price is. I know a lot of you are concerned about that. So as you can see right here, $1 worth of Pulse is 14,277 Pulse. Now this is with DAI. The reason why I'm using DAI as an indicator of what the price of everything is because the asset that's bridged over the most right now is DAI at $1.13 million. You have USDC at 918,000 and you have USDT at 217,000. So the volatility of those two coins is going to be a little bit more than the volatility of DAI. So DAI is kind of the most stable coin over here on the Pulsechain. And you can use this right here to determine the price of everything else if you want to look at the price of other things. This is your coin, DAI. You can trade it all for DAI right now, bridge it back to Ethereum, and trade it out. So that's why I say it has a real value. You can kind of trade this over and see what the value of PulseX is. 51,000 PulseX for $1 worth of DAI. You can see what the value of Hex is over here. 132 Hex is about 1 DAI, and a lot of people like to see this the opposite way. So 1 Hex is worth about 0.007 cents. And you can calculate the value of all this other stuff too. Incentive token, 1 incentive token is worth about $5.05. Now, before you even do that, you can also look down here to see what the value of everything. It's kind of already calculated here in Pulsechain, so you guys can see that for yourself too. And the final thing to note, guys, is be careful, because if you are trading and you're saying, let me just go ahead and take my profits out of Pulsechain real quick, you don't want to do the wrong thing. There are 2 of every token, which makes this a little confusing for the newbies. So this DAI right here, you'll see that there's DAI and there's DAI, right? Same coin, but it's stated here so that you hopefully don't make a mistake. It says DAI stablecoin from Ethereum. All of the tokens that have value should say from Ethereum. If it doesn't say from Ethereum, it's a copy token with no backing. The only exceptions are Pulse, PulseX, Hex, and Incentive token. Those are the only 4 exceptions. Everything else should say from Ethereum in order for you to be able to bridge it back and have value with that. All right. So let's see here if there's anything else to mention. These charts right here are important to look at. Again, none of this really matters. A lot of these tokens are newly created, so I would even caution against trading with some of those too. But again, you see Hex from Ethereum. That's eHex right there. That's going to have value. Tether USD from Ethereum. So over the next couple days, if you guys are going to make some trades over to stablecoins or anything else, make sure you see that from Ethereum over there before you do any trades. Now, how has Pulse been performing since we've gotten liquidity over here on Pulsechain? Not too good. So we can see that we've had a pretty big dump a little bit earlier today, and it's sort of sitting at I wouldn't say a low price, but it's sitting at pretty much the same price as Sacrifice, a little bit higher. So again, let's just remind you guys, I put about $10,000 into here. I don't remember if the price of Ethereum went up or down since then, but nonetheless, if I put in all of my funds right here, I get about, a 50% raise right there, $14,000 from all of my Pulsechain right there. It's pretty nice. But nonetheless, if people are expecting 10, 150x, that's not happening right now. You're getting around close to the same amount as what you started with. Now, again, I think that that's going to change significantly as we get more of those funds bridged over and more liquidity. And then you have people have options, like especially the giant whales. The giant whales had no options to really do anything. They'll have an option to say, you know what, let me take this 50% bump and cash out, right? I think that some whales will decide to do that. Some people will decide to buy in. Some people are bridging over to buy in. So that's where we'll see real price action. And again, I would give it maybe 3 or 4 days once this bridge starts to clear out, or at least this $34 million gets in at the bare minimum. Now, the final thing I'll leave you with is this. I wanted to give you guys my unbiased opinion, because a lot of other YouTubers and people that you're going to watch have been like Pulse fanatics, Hex fanatics for years, and like Hex exclusive YouTubers. So they're going to give you a biased opinion and say that Pulsechain is great and Hex is great and there's nothing wrong with it, period. But I will say some concerns that I have about Pulsechain and Hex, it's just Pulsechain, is, do we really need it? That's the big question. There's been a lot of hype that's been built up for Pulsechain for a long time, which is great. And, community carries everything, which is great. Pulse has a really, really strong community. But at the same time, I look at Pulsechain and I look at all of these other chains right here. You can look on deck screen, you can just scroll down here. All these other chains are sort of forks of Ethereum in a little bit different way. They're doing their own sort of different thing, whether they've added some security or added different types of transactions or added this, that, or the other thing. All these chains are trying to improve upon Ethereum or just work side by side with Ethereum. And Pulsechain is no different. Pulsechain has a couple extra bells and whistles, but again, it's your EVM chain. It has gas fees that are crazy if people are using the network like crazy, etc., etc. So, that brings the question, do we really need this? A lot of people are saying, well, now that Pulsechain is out, you just got to wait a couple days and we're going to get 50x, right? But you have to ask yourself why. Why are people going to be buying into Pulsechain compared to all of these other chains over here? Even if you have a high amount of transaction volumes and, a lot of buzz and hype on day 1, 2, and 3, why is that going to continue? Why are people going to use Pulsechain over BSC, over Polygon, over Arbitrum, over Chronos, over all this other stuff? So that's a question that you need to ask yourself before you FOMO into buying, a big stack of this stuff. Make sure you have that answer, because I don't have that answer for you guys. All right, that is everything for today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and if you're not a Patreon, consider becoming a Patreon. I'm leaving some gems in there finally. We're talking a lot about ordinals, and those are some time-sensitive videos. If you jumped into some of those ordinals on the Patreon release of the video, then you got a pretty nice profit from that, as opposed to watching this on YouTube, where you're getting all of my videos a little bit later than everyone else on Patreon. So if it's something you're interested in, check it out for yourself. It also motivates me to make more videos. All right, guys, that is everything for today. I think I'm going to go ahead and make my ordinals video right after this. Catch you in the next one. Peace out.